Welcome to another edition of Saturday Sit Down. This week we get to know the prospects. We get to know the future of the Lethbridge Hurricanes. And joining us from, we'll start on the furthest west coast. We have Logan Wormald, who is a third-round pick of the Lethbridge Hurricanes in the 2020 WHL Bantam Draft. We've got in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Noah Chadwick, who was a second-round pick this past draft, and the player chosen in the first round, that was Cole Miller. He, of course, joining us from Edmonton. Gentlemen, great to have you on. How are things? We'll start with you, Cole. How are things going for you right now?
It's going good. Gyms are starting to open up in arenas, so it's fun starting to get back in the gym, getting stronger, and starting to get back on the ice again.
Noah, how about you? How are you keeping busy?
Yeah, the gyms and the rinks have been open for the past 3 weeks, so I've been keeping busy there for sure.
And Logan, yourself?
I've been working out with my brother throughout the quarantine, and I've been going on the ice, like starting now for 2 or 3 times a week now. So,
Excellent.
yeah.
Kind of interesting that we have 3 different provinces in Canada right now, with Alberta, Saskatchewan, and of course BC represented in this conversation. So the progress between province to province is certainly an interesting one. Let's go back to the end of the season, and kind of a weird end for everybody from the NHL down. Cole, for you, how did things go at the end and leading into the draft? Were you able to play? Were you able to work out in Alberta?
No, unfortunately, leading up to draft day, leading up to the end of the season, that's when arenas started to close down. So I was forced to stay home and work out and shoot pucks from home. So it's unfortunate, but happy things are starting to open up again.
Noah, in Saskatchewan, is that kind of the same story? I feel like it's probably a consensus around the world, probably, in that a lot of people were at home and trying to find alternative ways to keep in shape.
Yeah, so we were in our second round of playoffs, and we kind of heard just before the game it was going to be our last game, everything was shutting down. So that's really unfortunate. But yeah, I think it turned out to be pretty nice. I got the Mars blades and was able to rollerblade a lot. And, as Cole mentioned, shooting pucks, I did that a lot, and so it was okay.
What about you, Logan?
Yeah, I was just going into my 3rd game of playoffs, and we just finished the round robin, so we were about to play our first real game, like a knockout. Then unfortunately that happened. COVID happened, and we all got sent home. And since then, I've just been, as Cole and Noah said, I've been shooting pucks from home, rollerblading around, trying to get as much stuff done as I can.
Let's go back to draft day. Cole, we've talked prior, but maybe walk us through what it was like going into the draft and ultimately getting chosen by the Hurricanes 16th overall.
Yeah, it was all super exciting, super nerve-wracking. It's a goal and a dream of mine to play in the WHL, and getting calls from Peter 2 days before the draft saying he was very interested and he wanted me on his team and he was going to pick me in the first round. It was scary, but also super exciting.
What about you, Noah? You were a second-round pick. You went 38th overall to the Hurricanes. What was the process like from your vantage point?
Well, yeah, I was pretty nervous and excited. I think from experience from my brother, anything can happen was kind of my mindset going in. I was really happy to be selected by the Hurricane. It's an honor.
And Logan, you were only taken, I think it was 7 spots after Noah in the 3rd round, 45th overall. So what was it like for you kind of going through the first couple of rounds? And I mean, at that point, you don't really know where you're going to end up.
Yeah, I was super nerve-wracking at the time. When I saw my name pop up on the screen, my family and I were super excited and happy to be drafted to such a high-class organization. And it's always been a dream of mine to be drafted to the Western Hockey League.
Cole, I'm sure the echo or the sentiments echo true for you and Noah as well. But when you finally get your name called and you're done. You don't have to worry about it anymore. Is it kind of a sigh of relief as much as it is excitement?
Yeah, it's definitely a sigh of relief. All the work that you put into during the season and in the off season, it's a relief knowing that it's all paid off. But at the same time, you know that the next level is harder to get to, and you got to put just as much, if not more, work in to produce the way you did in your previous levels.
Noah, for you, obviously, you were kind of aware of the WHL Bantam Draft, having gone through that process with your older brother, who's a prospect of the Saskatoon Blades, Ethan. What was it like for you? Was it excitement, and what do you know about the city of Lethbridge?
I can't say I know much about the city, but it was really exciting for sure. I think it's definitely a dream for a lot of people to play in the WHL, including myself. I think I worked for it my whole life, and I think these next years are going to be really tough, midget AAA this year, and I think I want to play. I think I want to play there when I'm 16. My goal, and I think I'm gonna have to work really hard for that.
Logan, is that I imagine for every young hockey player, the goal is to make the WHL at 16. Is that kind of what you have your sights circled toward?
Yeah, I'm just gonna keep working as hard as I can, and we'll see what happens. I'm trying to make the team when I'm 16 as well.
Logan, I want to ask you about the Yale Hockey Academy, because the Lethbridge Hurricanes have had some success drafting out of there. You think of Dylan Cousins and Alex Cotton, two pretty key guys on this past year's Lethbridge club. What was the Yale Hockey Academy like for you? Obviously, you had a tremendous season with 62 points in 30 games.
Yeah, it was fantastic. All the teachers are great. Everyone treats you well there. The days are really fun because you go straight from school in the morning, and then you go to hockey, and then you work out, and then you go do another class. So doing all that stuff, working while doing schoolwork, it's really fun.
And Noah, you played with the Saskatoon Stallions. What was that experience like last year?
It was really good. We had probably the best coaching staff in the league. We had a great season. Actually, we finished first in the league. I think without the quarantine and the COVID, I think we could have won the league, and that was unfortunate. But I think we had a really good year. Unfortunately, from injury, it held me back for about 8 weeks. But I think I recovered really strong, and I guess I'm here today.
And Cole, you played, of course, with the Knights of Columbus and had a pretty good year yourself, serving as the captain for that club as well. What was that like, being a captain and a leader at such a young age?
It's a huge responsibility. I like being the one that people can go to, such the younger age groups, such as the 06s. I had every practice, one of them come up to me asking me if they could go coach to talk, or even if they need help with something. It's just, I really enjoy helping them out to help them proceed to the next level and do so as I did to get drafted hopefully next year.
Talk about your season personally, Cole. Were you happy with how you were able to do on that club as the captain and putting up pretty good points?
Yeah, I feel like I had a pretty good season. Unfortunately, I had an injury as well this year, setting me back around 4 weeks. So it was tough seeing my team without me, but at the same time, when I was in the lineup, I felt like I led them to the best of my abilities, and I tried my best to keep everyone in line. And even though we didn't have the greatest season as a team, we really bonded.
Hey, Logan, I want to ask you about the type of player that you kind of describe yourself as, because we can look at the numbers, and the numbers that you had at Yale were really good this year. You mentioned the 62 points. But describe your type of play for the Lethbridge Hurricanes fans that are watching this that kind of want to know more about Logan Wormald.
I'd say I'm sort of a two-way player. So in the offensive zone, I can produce, make room for my teammates, find open teammates, as I said. And also in the defensive zone, I found myself very effective blocking shots at the top, helping out with my center and defenseman. And yeah, just doing the best of my ability to help everyone out.
What about you, Noah? You were, by the numbers, it looks like a pretty good offensive defenseman, 42 points in 21 games this year, and a pretty good playoff, too.
Yeah, I think I always start from the D zone out. It starts with good positioning and a good stick for sure. And think I like to play a good position game, get up quickly and play with pace for sure. Try to find guys for sure.
Any players in the NHL that you model yourself after as a puck moving defenseman?
Well, I like Eric Carlson. He's been a long time favorite, but Cale Makar also, one of my favorites. He's really, really good.
What about you, Cole? What type of player are you, and maybe a player that you try and model yourself after?
I have Danny Malkin. He's a big centerman that can adapt to play the winger role, and he uses his body really well to create space for himself and his teammates. He's also a good 200-foot player, as I pride myself in the defensive zone just as much as I do in the offensive zone, and he's a leader. He brings his team up, which you can see in the playoffs in past years, and yeah, he's definitely someone I look up to.
All three of you, Cole in Edmonton, Noah in Saskatoon, and Logan in Langley, live in WHL markets. So, Cole, we'll start with you and asking you, what level of knowledge did you have about the WHL prior to your draft experience?
I don't come from a family that has any experience with the WHL, and it was somewhat blind going into the draft before I got the calls and kind of gained some knowledge from past coaches and scouts that have called me from other teams, and it was good knowing the knowledge eventually when I got the call from a Lethbridge scout that I could gain that and use it to help get to where I am today.
What about you, Noah? Obviously, mentioned you're from Saskatoon. You live in the same city as the Blades. Your brother's, of course, drafted by the Blades. I imagine the WHL is pretty at the forefront for you and your family.
Yeah, I think we've been building for over 5 years now. So I've had the opportunity to talk to every one of them and get the insight on all the WHL questions that I have, which is awesome. And Ethan was drafted and he's played a little bit with the Blades, so it really helps to know all this.
Logan, what about you? The Vancouver Giants, I'm from the West Coast, and when I was younger, the Giants played in Burnaby at the Pacific Coliseum, and of course, about 4 or 5 years ago, they moved out to Langley. So has it been nice to be kind of in the backyard of a Western Hockey League team?
Yeah, I live about 5 minutes down from LEC where they play their home games, so it's really nice. I watch a ton of games like all over the season. It's nice to see a ton of different players, what they do, how they play. Yeah, it's just nice to see all that.
Logan, oh, sorry. I was going to say, Logan, how excited are you for training camp, for your first opportunity to come to Lethbridge and kind of see the rink, see the city, experience a camp coming up hopefully in September?
Oh, I'm super excited. I've been training myself all this time through quarantine, going to the gym, shooting pucks, and I've been getting on the ice recently, so I'm super excited to get going.
Noah, how about you? Is it nerve-wracking thinking about your first training camp with the Lethbridge Hurricanes at all, or is it just excitement?
I think there's the nerves. I try not to think about that, though. I know it's going to be exciting, and I've heard that's amazing from my brother. So I'm hoping to get a couple exhibition games in, so that'll be really fun.
And Cole, obviously the three of you signed pretty much right away. I imagine the excitement level was high to get that process out of the way. And how excited are you about coming to Lethbridge in a couple of months?
Super excited. It's going to be a good experience to help push myself to see what it's going to be like in the WHL, hopefully when I'm 16, because that's obviously what I want to do is make the team. And yeah, it's going to be a good experience to gain knowledge from players that have played in the WHL and are most likely going to be playing in the WHL this year. And it's going to be really fun.
When you think about the opportunity to come to Lethbridge and experience a training camp and go through the preseason process, of course, you guys, the three of you, can't play full-time next year in the Western Hockey League. So, Cole, what are the plans for you next year to play, I imagine, AAA somewhere?
Yeah, next year I'm planning to play U18 in Edmonton, obviously, AAA. it's something that I wanted to do, just keep going to the highest level hockey that you can play. And obviously now being drafted, it's going to be a tough competition against me, and that's what I love about playing hockey.
Noah, what about you?
Yeah, I'm playing with the Saskatoon Contacts this year. I think they're playing playing at the same rink as the Blades here at the SaskTel Center. So that'll be really awesome. I think it's gonna test me for sure. I think I'll have to work really hard.
And Logan, what about yourself?
Next year, I'm playing for the Yale U18 midget prep team. So I'm super excited to be playing against bigger, stronger guys, as the WHL will be. So yeah.
I imagine with the process of going from Bantam to midget is probably pretty similar in going from midget to the Western Hockey League. Do you have anybody in your circle, Logan, that you've been able to talk to about playing in the Western Hockey League and how you maybe prepare yourself for making that jump at some point?
Well, right now I'm working out with Alex Cotton. So obviously he's been telling me super good things about Lethbridge, and he's just telling me to work my butt off and do as much as I can to do the best of my ability to play a couple games next year, maybe.
And Noah, of course, you mentioned that your family's billeted for the Saskatoon Blades. So obviously the WHL is pretty prominent. Now that you're a player that's in a system on the verge of going to a camp and getting your foot wet when it comes to the Western Hockey League as a player, do you lean on some of the billets that you've had in the past, and your brother, of course, who, as I mentioned before, is drafted there?
Yeah, I'm always asking questions. I think it's a pretty big jump. It's playing against guys that are 3 or 4 years older than you, and I don't think we're really used to that. But I think it's just believing in yourself and working hard to get there, and you're capable of it. So.
Cole, what about you? Do you have anybody that you've been in contact with near or in the Western Hockey League that's been able to maybe help you along the way with any questions about how to get ready for a training camp?
Yeah, obviously my agent and the agency, there's a lot of players that last year have been drafted and even this year, but even in past years when they've been playing in the WHL for a year now, on these skates that I've been going to, they've all been there, and I've been interacting with them and talking to them, asking questions, and I've been gaining more knowledge with the WHL, along with working out with a couple of WHL players. That's seeing the way that they prepare in the gym and the way they push each other. It's just the way they push me too. I'm an 05 going with 03s and 02s, working out with them, and they push me to become better because they know what it takes to get into the league.
Well, it's very exciting times. Congratulations to all three of you, A, for being drafted, B, for signing your first WHL contracts, and we're very much looking forward to having you guys here, hopefully in September for training camp and through the preseason, and one day donning a Lethbridge Hurricanes jersey full-time. Cole Miller, Noah Chadwick, Logan Wormald, thanks so much for doing this.
Thank you.
All right, there's an eye to the future for the Lethbridge Hurricanes on another edition of Saturday Sit Down. We hope you enjoyed it.